Have you ever noticed how some people refuse a glass of beer, a toast, or even a simple sip of wine in the middle of a crowded party, while everyone around them seems to surrender to the rhythm of alcohol? It's not just a matter of not liking the taste, although many use that excuse to avoid explanations. Behind this gesture, which may go unnoticed or even be interpreted as antisocial, there is a universe of reasons that go far beyond sobriety. Some are conscious, others are wounds that the body keeps silent. And when you understand what's really at stake, you start to see these people with different eyes. First, we need to deconstruct a myth. People who don't want to drink don't drink. It's not frills, it's not doing drama, and it's certainly not a lack of festive spirit. In a culture that romanticizes alcohol, where drinking until you drop is synonymous with fun and holding your drink is a trophy of endurance, saying no thanks can be an act of quiet rebellion or, in many cases, self-preservation. Imagine having to justify, at each event, why you prefer sparkling water to a colorful drink. Social pressure is so strong that many make excuses. I'm on a diet, I took medicine, I have to drive tomorrow, when, in fact, the real answer is much more complex. For some, the reason is physiological and traumatic. The body remembers what the mind tries to forget, a hangover that turned into a nightmare, a night when they lost control and woke up feeling ashamed, or even a genetic predisposition that makes alcohol become poison instead of pleasure. There are those who, after a single episode of intoxication, develop a chemical aversion. The smell of beer becomes nausea, the taste of whiskey burns like acid. The brain, wisely, registers, "That hurt me. Never again." And so, the glass remains untouched, not out of moralism, but out of survival instinct. Others avoid alcohol for deep emotional reasons. Maybe they grew up in homes where drinking was synonymous with violence, where their father or mother turned into strangers after a few drinks. For them, the smell of kashaka does not evoke parties, but fear. Or else, they've already experienced what it's like to be the scapegoat of the group, the one who, when drunk, becomes the target of teasing, embarrassing photos or worse, abuse. In these cases, sobriety is not a choice, it is armor. Every no is a shield against vulnerability. And there are still those for whom alcohol is simply unnecessary. They're not against it, they don't judge people who drink, they just don't see the point in altering their consciousness to have fun. These people tend to be introverted, observant, or deeply connected to themselves. They don't need a drink to loosen their voice, dance, or laugh. In fact, they prefer to be truly present, without the haze of alcohol clouding their memories of the next day. For them, the party is not in the glass, but in the conversations that they will remember clearly, in the hugs they will give sincerely, in the moments that do not need to be reconstructed from fragments. Of course, there is also a philosophical and even spiritual side to this choice. Many ancient cultures viewed drunkenness as a door to chaos, something to be controlled, not celebrated. Anyone who has experienced the limits of alcohol knows that, after a certain dose, the line between euphoria and despair is thin. Some learn this early and decide, "I'd rather know myself sober than lose myself drunk." It's not about morals, it's about self-knowledge. It's like saying, if I don't like myself when I'm altered, why would I hand over the reins of my mind to a substance? But here comes the question that few ask: what does a society that normalizes alcohol say about those who choose not to drink? In a world where "shall we have one" is synonymous with "let's connect," refusing the invitation can sound like rejection. And that's where the misunderstandings lie. Those who don't drink aren't necessarily judging those who drink, they're often protecting a private space. Pleasure within you. A space where joy does not depend on substances, where emotions are not numbed, where memory remains intact. If you are one of these people, no, you are not boring, you are not a straight-faced person, you are not the spoilsport of the party. You are, perhaps, one of the few who understood that true freedom is not in letting go, but in knowing yourself. And if today you feel pressured to explain your choices, remember, those who really care about you won't demand that you justify yourself. The others? Well, they're too busy with their own cups to notice your strength. And for those on the other side, the one who always offers the drink without thinking twice, here's an invitation. The next time someone says no, thank you, don't insist. It's not a challenge, it's not a negotiation. It's a border. And respecting borders, after all, is what makes any relationship, whether at a party or in life, genuinely special. If this text resonated with you, comment here. What is your relationship with alcohol? Have you ever felt judged for not drinking? Share with those who need to hear that it's okay to be sober. And if you want more reflections like this, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Until next time, and may your next party be as good as your memory of it. Champagne glasses, from juice, coconut water, or anything that makes you happy. The depth of no thanks, when refusing, is an act of self-knowledge and courage. Have you ever stopped to think that one of the most revolutionary acts of adult life is learning to say no without justifying yourself? No to that drink you don't want to have, no to that invitation that doesn't make sense to you, no to that expectation that no longer fits you. And yet, how many times have we felt that tightness in our chest when no comes out of our mouth? As if we were breaking an invisible pact that being nice means always saying yes. But here's the blunt truth. When you turn down something that doesn't serve you, you're not being annoying, you're being faithful. Faithful to the version of yourself that knows what fills you and what empties you. Faithful to that future you who will be grateful for not letting yourself be carried away by the pressure of the moment. And, paradoxically, it is in this no that the most authentic yes in your life is often born. The social weight of no and why it's so scary. From an early age, we are conditioned to associate refusal with rejection. Don't you joke with me? Don't like me? Don't you want to go out? I find it boring. Don't drink. It's a frown. Our primitive mind interprets no as a threat to tribes, as if, by drawing a border, we were crossing our name off the list of accepted. But here's the secret no one told you: the people who really matter won't abandon you because you have preferences. They may be surprised at first, but deep down, they respect those who know what they want, because that shows that you respect yourself. And there's more. Anyone who insists after a clear no isn't worried about you, they're worried about their own need for control. That person who offers you the drink 3 times after you refused is not being friendly, is being invasive. And here comes the question that few people ask: why do we think we have to give in to other people's insistence, but don't question why the other person doesn't accept no for an answer? The emotional mathematics behind social pressure. Let's do a mental exercise. Imagine you're at a party and you refuse a drink. What happens in the head of those who insisted? 1. But everyone is drinking. Translation: I feel insecure about my own choice and I need you to validate it. 2. Just one. It won't hurt. Translation: I want to feel in control of the situation, and your refusal takes that away. 3. Do you have PMS? Ted stressed? Translation: I can't accept that your choice is simply a choice, there has to be a problem behind it. Did you understand? The insistence is almost never about you. It's about the discomfort with other people's freedom. And when you internalize this, something magical happens. No stops being a burden and becomes a tool of power. No as an act of self-love, and how to train it. Saying no is not a gift, it's a muscle. And like every muscle, it needs training. Start small. No, thank you, without explanations, when they offer you something you don't want. I'll pass this time, no excuses, when they invite you to a program that doesn't interest you. It doesn't suit me, without justification, when they pressure you to be someone you are not. The secret. Repeat until the guilt evaporates. Because guilt, my friend, is just the echo of a voice that taught you that pleasing others is more important than listening to yourself. But what if, this time, you tried letting that voice fail? The no paradox: the more you refuse, the more you attract. Here's the most delicious irony of all: when you stop contorting yourself to please, the right people start to admire you. Because, deep down, we all yearn for authenticity, even if, sometimes, we don't know how to name it. Think about the people you admire most. I bet they're not the ones who say yes to everything. They are those who know where they end and where others begin. Who are not afraid to disappoint so as not to betray themselves. Who understand that being liked is not being a chameleon. And when you start living like this, something incredible happens. Relationships become lighter. Because people know what to expect from you. They know that your yes is genuine and your no is not personal. And that, my dear, is the basis of any true connection. For those on the other side, How to receive a no without taking it personally. If you are one of those who offers a drink, insists on the invitation or pressures you, even without meaning to, here is an invitation to reflect. The no is not about you. It's about the other person honoring your boundaries. Insisting is the opposite of respect. If you like her, let her be free, even free not to want what you're offering. True generosity has no strings. If your gesture comes with the expectation that the other person should accept it, then it's not a gift, it's an exchange. And know this, when you honor a no, you are creating a safe space. A space where the other person knows they can be honest without fear. And there is nothing more valuable than that. The final invitation: try being free, even if it's scary. Today, I propose a challenge: say no to something you don't want, without justifying yourself. It could be a drink, a date, a favor, an opinion. Feel the discomfort. Breathe. And watch what happens. Spoiler: the world will not collapse. People won't abandon you. And, at the end of the day, you will go to bed with a priceless feeling that, today, you chose yourself. Because deep down, life isn't about how many parties you went to or how many drinks you had. It's about how many times you had the courage to be exactly who you are, even when it meant saying no. And now, tell me, when was the last time you said no and felt guilty? What happened next? Have you ever been judged for refusing something? How did you deal with that? What would you like to say no more often, but still can't? Share this text with anyone who needs to hear that it's okay to have limits. And if you want more reflections like this, turn on notifications, because we're going to talk a lot about freedom, self-knowledge, and how to live without asking permission. Until next time. And remember, your life is yours. Every yes and every no too. Yellow heart. Freedom begins when you stop asking for permission. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that nothing you did yesterday was actually your choice. That every yes was a reflection of fear, every no was swallowed by guilt, and every decision was filtered by the question, what will they think? Now, imagine the opposite, a day when you acted without explaining, without justifying, without apologize for existing. This second scenario isn't a distant dream, it's a right you forgot you had. We grow up learning that being good means being useful. That love is measured by sacrifice, that success is measured by approval, and that freedom is a privilege for few. But what if I told you that true rebellion isn't breaking rules, it's creating your own? That courage isn't in skydiving, but in saying this isn't for me when everyone expects you to say yes. The fear behind the automatic yes. Have you ever stopped to count how many times you said yes just to avoid the look of disappointment from the mother, the boss, the friend who counted on you? Social etiquette. What do you mean you're not going? Everyone is going. Invisible guilt. If I refuse, I'm selfish. We have been conditioned to believe that refusing is failing. That limits are walls, not bridges. But here's the blunt truth: every forced yes is a piece of yourself that you've betrayed. Think about the last time he accepted an invitation just to not disappoint. He took on a responsibility that he didn't want, but someone had to do it. He smiled and said it's okay when in fact he was boiling inside. Now ask, how many of these situations could have been avoided with a simple no? And most importantly, what did you lose by not choosing yourself? No as an act of self-love. Saying no isn't about rejecting someone else, it's about honoring yourself. It's like closing your bedroom door to read a book. You're not kicking anyone out, you're creating space for what matters. But why is this so scary? 1. The illusion of indispensability. If I don't do it, everything will fall apart. Reality. The world spins without you. And that's not tragic, it's liberating. 2. The ghost of rejection. They'll find me boring, difficult, antisocial. Reality. Those who truly care about you will not abandon you over a limit. What if you abandon it? It wasn't supposed to stay. 3. The savior syndrome. If I don't help, who will? Reality. You are not the Messiah. Letting others solve your problems is an act of respect and self-preservation. What happens when you start saying no? Spoiler: the brain panics at first. You will feel guilt, as if he had committed a crime. Anxiety: what if they need me? Empty, because you are no longer filling your time with other people's obligations. But then comes the magic. Your time becomes yours again. Those 30 minutes you spent doing something out of obligation, now there are 30 minutes to breathe, create, or simply do nothing. Your relationships become more genuine. The people who stay are the ones who really want you around, not the ones who just like what you do for them. You rediscover your desires. When you stop living on autopilot, you realize what really makes you happy, not what you thought should make you happy. How to practice no without guilt, a practical guide. 1. Start small. Refuse an invitation that doesn't interest you. Don't make excuses. Say, I appreciate it, but I won't be able to this time. The secret: the less you explain, the less others will question. 2. Postpone the response. Let me check my schedule and I'll tell you. Even if your agenda is the desire to stay home and eat popcorn. Why it works: breaks the reflex of saying yes in the heat of the moment. 3. Swap sorry for thank you. Instead of, sorry, I can't. Say, thank you for thinking about me, but it won't happen. Effect: you go from debtor to grateful, and that changes everything. 4. Practice silent no. There is no need to respond to every message, accept every request, or pay attention to everything they call you. A no can be silence. And that is also valid. 5. Prepare for discomfort. The first few times will hurt. This is normal. You are unlearning a pattern of a whole life. Remember, blame passes. Freedom, no. What you get when you stop living to please. 1. Energy. Every no to something that drains you is a yes to yourself. Imagine having energy left over for what really matters. 2. Self-respect. When you honor your limits, others start to honor them too. You teach how you want to be treated. 3. Clarity. Without the noise of other people's expectations, you hear your own voice for the first time in years. 4. Freedom. Not the freedom to do everything, but the freedom to do nothing you don't want to do. And that, my friend, is the kind of freedom that no one can give you, only you can take. And now, the question that's worth 1,000 numbers. If you could refuse one thing today without consequences, what would it be? A relationship that exhausts you? A job that makes you unhappy? A social role that no longer serves you? The perfect son, the always available friend, the employee who never says no? Write this now. Not to do it today, if you can't, but to recognize that you have a choice. Because the first step to freedom isn't taking action, it's allowing yourself to desire it. To reflect and share. Which yes did you regret the most? What did you lose because of him? What no have you put off out of fear, but no you need to say? What changes if you say so? What would your life be like if, for a month, you said no to everything that didn't fill you with joy? Try it. Write down the results. Share this text with anyone who needs to remember that your life is not a buffet where everyone can help themselves at will. You don't have to be anyone's main dish. And if you want more reflections like this on how to live with less guilt and more authenticity, turn on notifications. Because we're going to talk a lot about how to be in charge of your own life without asking for permission. Until next time. And remember, the world won't stop if you say no. But your life can finally begin. Fire. P.S. If you've read this far and felt something move inside you, that's the sign. The time to start is now. Not tomorrow. Not when things calm down. Now. Because the life you want isn't on the other side of a yes, it's on the other side of a no that you haven't yet had the courage to say.